Welcome to today's podcast. This is Toni Weel from sunny Florida again, and it's going to be like 80 degrees today. I'm sorry, my voice is a little off still, and I have my coughing fits. It all goes with what we're going to talk about, the flu or a cold. And we have with us today Gary and Sarah. I was expecting Katie, but she may drop in later. And oh my gosh, I feel that urge to cover up coming up again. But it will get better. It's the reason, like, why do we get the flu and how important is it? So when I hear people say, "Oh, I never had the flu in my life, I never had a cold," and now all of a sudden they have cancer all over. So we want to talk a little bit about that. I have a writing from Lauren Whiteman, and she has a beautiful way of always explaining so well. And I'm going to read part of it, and then we can go into this. And our state of health is determined by the amount of waste trapped inside the body. The more our diet contributes to this waste load, the dirtier the internal terrain becomes. As our terrain gets filled with waste, our body is constantly working to eliminate this waste. Regular elimination is happening constantly through the primary elimination channels, the kidneys, the lungs, the bowels, and is assisted by bacteria, yeast, fungus, and even parasites. When our diet is inappropriate for our physiology and biology, these channels become clogged with waste. If we don't correct the diet and eliminate the excessive waste load coming into the body, then the body starts to create new symptoms of the cleaning process, which are called diseases by the disease for profit industry. These cleaning processes are all expulsion symptoms. They can include coughing, sneezing, runny nose, fever, diarrhea, vomiting, rashes, acne, fungus, yeast, bacterial overgrowth, not actually an overgrowth at all, but simply the body creating more bacteria to clean the greater waste load of any other productive symptom. When we return to the natural diet for our species, fruits and greens, and begin to clean out this waste burden, I think I'm missing a part here of the text. As the body begins to clean itself out, we move through various expulsion symptoms until the body reaches a clean state. And this is actually what has been happening to me. I could say, like, okay, that those symptoms, and they were pretty severe in the beginning, came out of the blue. And my only reaction was like, okay, I gotta fast. So I went right away on water and with lemon juice in it. And today is day 13 of this lemon water fast. And there were times that I was like, oh my gosh, I want to have a pill so I can breathe and not cough so much and feel better. But this is where you just don't give in, you rest and drink and make sure you hydrated. So that is what I did. Okay, Gary, I need to start coughing again, so I'll leave it to you now.
Okay. So yeah, the cold and flu like symptoms, and anybody
Oops. Sorry, Gary, I muted you. I wanted to mute myself. Can you unmute you? Can you unmute you? I have a little brain fog. Okay, now I mute myself.
unmute. Okay, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's very seldom you're gonna. It's almost impossible, possible, but almost impossible to do a cleanse without having some type of a cold and flu like symptom. And like Toni was explaining, if we're not constantly cleaning our body with good live liquids like the Master Cleanse or fruit juices, or even if you have so much congestion, even the fruit juices are too powerful. You can go to a green juice or a green smoothie and do that for maybe a week, 2 weeks, and then try to go to the fruit juice or a fruit smoothie, because the lighter the liquid, like if it's water or even just dry fasting, you're going to be breaking more toxins loose than the 13 channels of elimination can handle. So it's going to start building up in the body, and it's going to cause cold and flu-like symptoms. And the longer you wait, the more intense it can be. I've had some pretty intense ones. And that's when you have to decide, am I going to go through this, or am I going to back up a little bit and maybe go from a fruit juice to a fruit smoothie or a green juice, just to lower that energy just a little bit and give your body time to catch up with the amount of toxins that are being eliminated. Because this is what happens when we eat a cooked meal. It lowers our energy because more energy has to go to digest that food. That food doesn't really have any enzymes or electrolytes in it anymore that will help to process it. This is why live foods are so important when it comes to cleansing. They're astringents, for one thing, fruit is. And the Master Cleanse is lemon is a fruit, but it's an astringent, so it's pulling toxins out of the body. And again, we have to make sure that we keep that at a level that I call it dancing with energy, right? Because the energy is going up, and if you eat a cooked meal, it's going to drop a little bit. If you go with a live liquid, it's going to start coming up above whatever is going on in your body, and you need to clean it out. That's why I try to do 32 ounces of the Master Cleanse every day, whether I'm fasting or not. I just have 16 to 32 ounces of the Master Cleanse, and then I eat maybe one, sometimes two meals a day. And it's a cleaning process that's not as aggressive. And then if I want to do 1 day, 2 day, 10 day, 15 day cleanse, my body is more prepared for it because it's already been eliminating things. And a fast can be just taking what you'd normally have on your plate and cutting half of it off. So if you have, I don't know whatever it is you're eating, if you're filling the plate, only use half as much in it. And that in itself is a fast. It's a detox. And then you add some live liquid to that, you're really going to start changing your life. So the reason we get colds is because the body is ready to purge, and there's just nothing that triggered it. So we go out and we get exposed to someone that has a cold, and we end up with a cold. And depending on how much toxins we have in our body is how severe that cold is going to be, because the body's trying to eliminate. And that's why you always feel so much better when that cold is over. You've gotten rid of a whole bunch of toxins in the body. If you're doing synthetic meds, it's going to suppress the body's ability to eliminate things. So you're getting more and more toxins stuffed deeper and deeper into the tissues, and it makes it really difficult for the body to eliminate those, because they're working on shutting down the body, which is the lymphatic system, because they didn't want to talk about the lymphatic system. And that's where everything is. It's in the lymph. The lymph's job is to keep the blood alkaline. So you're really compromised if you start having issues with your blood. But did you want to add anything, Sarah? Is she still there?
Yep, I'm still here. Had to get off mute. No, I agree with what Gary is saying, and I think I'm an advocate for this, and I talk about it probably too much, but these are the reasons why it's very important to have your live liquids, to stay hydrated, and to really get your health journey started back to Wellville. And so that way, when these things arise, or they come through our environment, we should say, or the humidity drops, as we learned from Daniel, that our bodies will be able to adapt to it better, and they just won't affect us. And if you are going to be going through a detox, start now, so that way you could start slow.
Mhm.
Don't wait until you're, having to do it like immediately. So, start the process slow, like Gary was saying. I mean, even just eating half of what you would eat is already going to be beneficial to you. Always remember, it's not what you put in. There's not anything magical there. It's what you're going to take out of your daily eating. And even weekly eatings, I hear all the time, I have a cheat day. I cheat on the weekends. Unfortunately, you can't do that. So,
Right.
yep.
Yeah. The only one you're cheating on is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be, I mean, people can do it. I
Yeah.
mean, but, and how do you feel about detoxing one day a week? Like you pick a day and you detox that whole day, or once a month, or once every 6 months, or
I think it really depends on where you are in your journey. I mean, a person who's been doing this for a while, I mean, sure, you could do that every week or
yeah,
even just once a month. But
yeah,
if you're fighting something, or you're really trying to get your body back on track,
right,
then, I mean, I had something, I mean, it just kind of came out of the blue. I don't know if I was having, because, I'm very bad at drinking water, which I'll tell you how I figured out how I might start being able to drink a lot more water. But it is a little bit of a cheat, but I'll tell you about it in a second. Um, I woke up that morning, and I'm like, I'm going to drink water. I just drank tons and tons of water, but I don't know if it was like starting to become my cycle. And I was just, I am older, but I'm not, old. And so if I was just starting my cycle, maybe I was getting a little bit of cramps, but I never have cramps. Like, I've never had cramps, even when I was younger. I've been very fortunate that way. So I have no idea what it was, but I just turned to water, and I just drank water. It's like so much water all morning long. And I'm not kidding you. Like, when I said it went away, I mean, I don't know what it was. I have no idea, but I thought, I'm sure as heck not going to load up on something here. We're just going to give my body a chance to recover on its own and
right,
just do strictly water. And even after everything I know, after all these podcasts, after everything I've studied, like, I still do stuff I probably shouldn't do. And but it's just, we're humans. We're in the matrix. You mess up. And when I say mess up, it's not I'm out there eating hamburgers or steaks or anything like that. Like, I don't think I could ever do that, even if I wanted to. Like, it would be a very hard jump for me to do. But yeah, so like my stuff is like, eating cooked foods, or maybe having, I don't know, can you have too much sugar? But yeah, so that's where I stand. We can come back to what I'm drinking, but I think it really depends on where you are in this journey and what you're trying to accomplish.
right. And how late you are to the game,
Yeah, that's a big
and
one.
and getting mentally prepared,
Yes.
because that's a biggie for us because we've been doing it so long. It's just something else we do. Uh, but when you first start, and I see this a lot, uh, they're like, "Well, I'm going to start like when I get back home because it's hard to do on the road." Well, it is true. It is hard to do on the road, but it's not impossible. I just did a 10-day cleanse and I'm on the road. Uh, all you need is water and, for me, water, half a lemon. Uh, this is a large coffee cup. And I put the water in here, I put the lemon in there, and I put dark, real maple syrup, dark, because it has more minerals in it, to taste. And some of them I use a pinch. When I say a pinch, I'm talking like maybe 18 grains, because people don't know what a pinch is, because it's a pinch, right? So that kind of gives them an idea. I don't want you to count out 18 grains, but just know that it's a little tiny bit in there. And I might do that just one time during the day. Uh, but if you were to do it every day and you didn't really feel any different, then don't use the salt, because your body's probably okay. Uh, we have to learn to listen to our body. The only way it can get our attention now, we're so disconnected from how we feel that pain is the only way it can talk to us now. And the more pain we're in, the more it demands our attention. And that's all inflammation and toxins that are stuck, and things inside the body are really not, they're collecting instead of eliminating. And this is what synthetic meds do. They shut the body's ability to eliminate. They shut it down. And so things start building in the tissues, and the tissue gets hard. And when the lymphatic system is swelling, inflammation, okay, nerves love to run through soft tissue. Well, it starts to put pressure on all your arteries and your veins, and your ability for lymph and blood to flow through the tissue, and the nerves are trying to go back and forth, but they're being held, and that's what's causing the pain. So this is why fruit juices and master cleanse and eating fruit itself is so important, because it starts to reduce the inflammation by removing the toxins, and all your pain goes away. So it's really important. I mean, even if you just did, these need to be real too, not made from concentrate. Like if you go buy a juice, there's really nothing in it left alive. And that's usually from concentrate. And what they do, what that means is, whether it's orange juice or grape juice or cranberry juice or whatever it is, right? It's all 100% juice. When they are in the process of making it and getting it in that jar, they cook it, and they heat it, and all of the good liquid that's in that, it has enzymes and electrolytes and all this stuff, that's all evaporated out of it. So it's kills it, the heat, from doing that process, so that it can shrink it down into a syrup. And then they ship it to wherever they're going to ship it to, and they reconstitute it, usually with tap water. So it doesn't have hardly anything in it that the actual fruit has when you pick it and eat it, or when you put it in a blender, or squeeze it. Like if you're making apple cider vinegar, you had an apple press or a grape press or something like that. That's a whole different process of getting live liquids into your body. Sometimes when I want a 32-ounce glass jar, I'll buy a jar of grape juice, supposedly 100%, but it's usually reconstituted, and I squeeze 1 or 2 lemons into it.
Well, it's actually the one from Lakewood is pure juice. That is the Concord grape one. That is the one that Dr. Morse recommends. He said those grapes are so astringent that they even still are when pasteurized.
Wow. They must be cooking them at a low heat.
Probably, but that was the only bottled juice that he would recommend. Like if you want to go on a grape fast feast, and you cannot get any grapes because it's not in season, the right grapes, then go for these Concord, black Concord grapes, bottled in the brands are Lakewood, and there is another one, and they do have one that is from that is reconstituted, but the other one says pure juice.
Huh. So, hmm. But I always squeeze lemon in mine to give it a little boost.
Yeah,
But even
I
if
would
it,
do that too.
and maybe those companies are using filtered water, I'm not sure. When they, because it's constituted, so it's reconstituted, and they have to they have to put water in it to bring it back. So
Yeah, but
depending
maybe
on,
they don't always do that because this really says pure juice. They have two versions. The other one shows, yes, there is water in it, and the one with pure juice does not have water in it.
huh?
Oh, I wanna read something from Janelle. She
Yeah.
says I do a 36 to 40 hour water fast every week. Last week I did a 77-hour fast and wow, it felt so good. I'm going to shoot for a 3-day fast once a month. I did add lemon water at day 2. Amazing, Janelle. You know how it feels. I have that too. It's like I feel that I'm healing things in my body that I didn't even know I had a problem there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's definitely in, I still have the coughing and I still have the brain fog and, my hearing is not too great right now. But I'm observing. I'm observing what is going to happen with the fast that I'm doing and how the body responds to it. And I want to go back a little, Gary, to when we talk about how important is the that you actually detox or actually have these symptoms, that you have the flu and the cold. Because there are so many people that say I've been healthy my whole life, and all of a sudden I never had a cold or a flu, and all of a sudden I have cancer.
Okay, is that where? Okay, just make sure that's where you want to end up. Okay, so cancer is in our body all the time, and it's carried out to the lymph nodes, and it's dissolved and flushed out of the body. When the bodies can't do that anymore, then they start to accumulate. And when they're during that accumulation, things start to swell. Again, we're into the inflammation stage here, and that's in the lymph. So really, when you think about it, a tumor, a cyst, a boil, and a pimple are all the same thing. They're just at different layers in the body. And our job is, because it's stagnant lymph in different areas, different layers in the body. And a lot of those are created, like with pimples, dairy, um, and a lot of greasy foods and things like that, fried foods. And the lymphatic system gets stagnant, and then all of a sudden you get pimples coming out everywhere. So for a lot of people that have that issue, getting rid of dairy, and they crave it too, because we always crave what makes us sick, usually because there's a parasite involved in that, and they attach to your nervous system. And when they get hungry, they actually rattle the nervous system because they're hungry. And they can even put images in your head, like ice cream or cheese or things like that. And you have these cravings. Well, they're the ones creating the cravings. Uh, I kind of, what was the, can you repeat that question? Oh, no, never mind. Okay. So, cancer. You wake up one day and you have cancer. You didn't wake up one day with cancer. It's been building for probably 8 or 10 years. And when they see it and it's just a speck, this is one of the things that really, well, let's put it this way: there's no words that I can use here. Uh, so they watch it, right? It can take 8 to 10 years before it shows up on one of their scopes. So it's a whatever it is, centimeter wise, and they just watch it. That's all they do, because and they don't tell you to change your diet. They don't tell you to fast. They don't tell you to do anything, and they just wait. And as you're doing what you've normally been doing, if there's a chemical or something in there that's not agreeing with your body, and your body doesn't know what to do with it because it's synthetic, it's not biological, it'll shove it in that little container, and they'll watch it till it's big enough that they need to do something about it. And usually that's stronger meds, uh, schedule you for surgery, chemo, radiation, and it's pretty well known that those things aren't that great. Uh, it's hard to fix the bathroom because all cancers are lymphomas, and lymphomas are in the lymphatic system. And like Dr. Morse taught us, the lymphatic system is the bathroom of the body. It takes away the waste. And the blood is the kitchen. It brings in oxygen, hydration, and nutrition. And it delivers them to the cells so that they can absorb, digest, and eliminate like a 3 pH liquid. And the lymph comes along, picks that up, and takes it to the lymph nodes, and it alkalizes it through the system. And all our lymph nodes actually communicate with each other. And that's why we don't get cancer. People that they're just out living their regular life, well, anything that is cancerous goes to that lymph node, and it's eliminated until the system is compromised. And it still doesn't mean that you'll have cancer, but you can have benign tumors, and a lot of tumors that we have are actually like little parasite nests. But in today's world, in today's medical system, there are no parasites in the human body, which is a joke. So we have to get past our cultural programming and realize if animals have worms, oh, we have worms or parasites or whatever you want to call them. And a lot of our juices are such a high level of energy. Parasites do not like that. They like a low oxygen, low energy site to build their nests or their homes, especially in any pocketing in your intestines. They get in those pockets and they start building. Now, the lower the energy, I've done this on a lot of videos. So here's divine energy. And as that energy lowers, this is from Dr. Joe Dispenza, as that energy lowers, it doesn't mean you have, but you'd be susceptible to things like cold and flu and fibromyalgia and Hashimoto's and MS and Parkinson's and cancer. Well, all they did, these are all frequencies, okay? Because everything in the universe is a frequency. So they gave it a name instead of telling you it was a frequency. And how do we change our frequency in this world? We breathe through the nose. That's where the energy comes in. And as we hydrate with live liquids and we breathe and bring more energy in the body, it raises our frequency. It raises our energy. And if you have the C or MS or Parkinson's or any of these things, right? We pull the energy above that frequency. Forget the name, it's a frequency. And when we elevate our body over that frequency, it can no longer exist and it must go away. Because it was the lowering of it that created it. Shallow breathing, just mouth breathing, puts you in fight or flight, and your whole core system is off, and most of your immune system is in your gut. But it's also the lymph, because what's happening in the gut is the lymph is pulling out the toxins, and when it can't do that anymore, it starts to build. And that's what we don't want. We want to be able to clean things out. My what I've always said about the medical system is, why clean it out when we can cut it out? But they have to wait. And if you go in a doctor's office and he says, "How old are you now?" "Yep, right on time." Well, he's talking about your lymphatic system. He's just not telling you that. Right on time means the average person eating the standard American diet without detoxing is going to have eye issues or teeth issues or joint issues, or there's going to be something in the body breaking down because we're not taking care of it, and we're going to the people that profit from our dis-ease to get help. And the average doctor in America, age-wise, when they die, is 56. They're under a lot of stress. They're under a lot of pressure. They see sick people all day long. And if you study disease and you believe you get what you focus on, there's a good chance you're going to have a dis-ease or a disease. And dis-ease in the body is just frequency. And we can alter that whenever we want to, just simply by doing live liquids, eating live food, and balancing our energy and keeping it up here. As it lowers, you'll be susceptible to it. Doesn't mean you have cold, flu, right? Fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's. When you break those two words down, fibromyalgia and Hashimoto's, in the medical world, it actually means we have no idea why you have this, but we have a pill for it. Um, so those are the things we have to be careful of. And you know, my understanding is that viruses don't live in nature. They're all made in labs. So why are we being told about all these different viruses that are flying around, and we're being lied to about a lot of this stuff? In my opinion, we're being lied to about a lot of this stuff. And I think we're starting to see it, and we'll never know the real numbers because they just jumbled everything up, because that's what you do when it's a military thing. It's diversion. And so we have to keep our breath where it is in a constant state of natural flow. When we get in fight or flight, which is exactly what the media is doing, I was sharing this with Toni. I'm not sure Sarah was on yet, but I saw a video yesterday, and these people all dressed in these hazmat suits and hoods and goggles and masks and stuff with a paper and a sprayer. And he walked up, and there was another person with him taking pictures. He put the cloth on the table, and he pretended to spray on it, and he just stood there, and they took a picture of him in this whole hazmat thing. And then they moved to a different spot. Well, there was a guy that saw him, and he started filming him. And he kept asking them why they were doing that. And is it about, well, the thing we just got over for the past 3 or 4 years, with all the injections and all that stuff? And they said yes. He says, but you're not cleaning anything. No, it's for the press. So they're going out and doing this for the press so that the press can depress and put people in fight or flight. It's all made up, all of it, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
In my opinion too, Gary, we just discussed something about the bird flu, that
Yes.
they are going to make a really, really big thing. People, you cannot catch bird flu. End of story.
Yeah, it's and my understanding, what a lot of people, like doctors and things, Dr. McCullough, who's one of the leading, most published MDs in the world on the jab, said that the yolk of an egg kills the protein, spike protein, that they're so afraid of and is causing so much havoc in the body. So we get rid of eggs. And with the jab, they took away ivermectin. And it is proven that ivermectin will eliminate why you even need the jab.
Well, Dr. McCullough is also one who is a big proponent of the keto diet.
Yeah, but he spent his whole life studying vaccines and,
Mm.
and all this stuff. Now, is he right? I don't know. We have to have the people that are controlling all this have to have both sides. It's like I always said about Bill Maher. Oh, well, he said something he shouldn't have said, and this network is firing him, and next week he's on another network. They need his voice because this is a psychological game. Television is a psychological game. And they need Bill Maher there because people can sit at home, hear what Bill Maher says, and go, yeah, that's right, what he said, right? It keeps them sitting in the chair instead of out in the streets because they're hearing somebody that resonates. And that's why there's so many of these people on the sidelines that the media doesn't like that get media coverage, right? And that's why this whole world is an illusion. It's all made up. And when we learn to breathe and balance our body and keep it healthy and clean internally, I mean, let's face it, we spend billions of dollars every year to wash the outside of the body. Nobody's even think about washing the internal body, and all the stuff you're washing off on the outside came from the inside. All that stinky stuff. Well, as you cleanse the internal body, you don't need to buy all that aluminum filled deodorant. You can use something natural. There's people that use lemons and limes and uh, under their arms. And I wouldn't advise making the master cleanse with it after that, but you know, there's
Well, if you are on the correct diet or the correct, you eat the correct foods, then you don't need any deodorant.
I
right.
don't wear any.
No,
Yep.
I haven't in oh my gosh,
It's so
probably
long. Nor does my son, nor does my husband.
no. And I've even seen people with the most smelly feet who started on a better diet and it went completely away.
Yep.
So I do believe that nothing of the outside, nothing that comes from nature, that does not come from nature can do anything positive in our bodies. And that is why I keep observing my own responses to my food intake. You know, how do I, like now with the fast, and it constantly amazes me. So I can see where people would go into trying what is considered to be helpful, and I've heard from certain now all of a sudden popular medication that it heals everything under the sun, and I don't believe in that. It's like, sorry guys, I don't want to mute myself now. I think, but it's like go on a fast and see what happens and see how you feel, and it's not scary. It won't kill you. I would like to, you were talking about the inside of the body. People take more care of the outside, which is absolutely true. And we take whatever is going on for granted. But let's face it, it has been made very difficult to even understand what's going on in the body. You know, you're indoctrinated with all the stuff on the TV and internet, and people get confused as in what to do, and we like to keep it simple. I'm not going to say, what I am doing is easy. I have right now, yeah, I have my moments that I have hunger. It's like, yeah, but it goes away in a few minutes and it's not really important. It is what Janelle said, doing a water fast every week or every month. I think that is a good thing
Mhm.
and cleaning the body out. But the maintenance of the inside, once we understand how things are working and how easy it is, and it not made complicated with so much information, just this is where you can start your healing. And we even link now, the cold or the flu with cancer, but it is like we go through stages of acidity in the body. And the first few you may think like, oh yeah, that's not normal. Or then you get to a point, oh, that is old age, like what you already mentioned, Gary. But it goes from bad to worse. And for people who are not sick or don't think they have anything going on in the body, I would still recommend, look at your diet.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why we have that mucusless foods diet. I mean, it is a beautiful list, and I adjusted it to what we learned from Dr. Morse and what are your detox foods, and there's enough to choose from. And part of it, because when I hear people, I'm going to be on fruit for the rest of my life, not necessarily. You can find a balance and on that list, and you can find it by mucuslessfoods.com, and you get the PDF right away. And the transitioning diet is similar to like what I would consider as a maintenance diet. What you mentioned, I think Sarah or Gary, about cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheating one day can easily become cheating the whole week. And it's just food is not an I have to say I love to cook. And then when I stopped the cooking and went all raw, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be a raw food chef. And but then you come to the conclusion is that it's not that important, you eat some fruit, you have my juice in the morning, a smoothie later on, and maybe a salad later, and that's it. I don't even think about creating all kinds of intricate meals. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love doing it, love creating recipes, but someone once posted an image of a fruit recipe. On one plate, there was this mandarin. On the other plate, it was peeled. And it was, there you go. Here's your recipe.
Yeah.
It is that easy. And we kind of, and I can see where you want more, but even on that mucusless foods list, there are enough options to just go for it. And the good thing there is it on that list it also shows you how bad or how mucus forming and acidity I say this wrong um certain foods are like meat and even certain nuts. I love nuts and seeds. I mean, I could make the most wonderful sauces with cashews and make wonderful like cream cheese type of pies. And but I ate way too many cashews and I was in a constant pain and thinking, it's raw, so I should be doing good. And you have to find a balance. I mean, yeah, I can see when you detox and you feel good, sure, add a few nuts here and there, but we tend to overdo things with our foods. And the most interesting I actually found is that when I eat cooked food, and this can be an healthy green soup, nothing crazy in it, not any additives, just greens. And then I once I ate it, I want more. And then I overeat. So it's with fruit, you never have that problem. You eat fruit until you feel okay, that was enough. And then if you're hungry 2 hours later, you eat more. So Yeah, I want to read a little bit more from Lauren's article. And I think the last part that I mentioned was, as the body begins to clean itself out, we move through various expulsion symptoms until the body reaches a clean state. Once the body reaches that clean state, we can expect to no longer experience cold and flu symptoms or other expulsion symptoms because the body no longer has waste in need of expulsion. This does not necessarily mean that if you don't get a cold or flu symptom, that your body is clean. Our bodies can be so dirty that they are no longer able to create these cleaning symptoms. So if your diet is not correct and you are not getting cleaning symptoms to remove all the waste from your body, is in a well, hold on, to remove all the waste, then your body is in a state of nervous exhaustion and you simply do not have the energy required to create cleaning symptoms. When this happens, the body then switches to inflammation, irritation, induration, ulceration, and eventually cancer and tumors. That was the 7 levels of acidity. So we want to avoid getting into the state where the body is no longer able to clean, where the body becomes enervated and starts to move up the ladder of cellular destruction. How long it takes to clean out the terrain depends on a number of factors. One, how long were you misfeeding the body on inappropriate foods? Two, how dehydrated the body is. Three, how quickly you transition. Four, how much nerve energy you have available to clean once you correct the diet. Five, how much time you can dedicate to resting and sleep. Getting adequate sleep and moderate exercise can help to speed the cleaning process, as can water fasting. But eating our natural, species appropriate diet every day is where the most healing occurs. So that was thanks to Lauren Whiteman. Her new name is now Lauren Ferris. She's married. And she is spot on. This is actually how it works.
Yeah, it's something I wanted to mention too. You said when somebody starts a detox, but they don't have anything wrong, and then they get a cold and flu-like symptom. That's because there was not enough accumulation in the body for it to cause pain yet. But still, they're trapped. The toxins are trapped, and they're moving out faster than the body can eliminate them. So you may go into it not expecting anything because you feel like you have nothing wrong. Doesn't mean you don't have accumulations here or there. If one of those 6 lymphatic gates is stuck, it's going to start backing up behind it. So it's really important to learn your 6 lymphatic gates, keep them open, especially the ones 1 and 2, which is behind the ear. This is the largest lymph node in the neck, and the blood supply runs up past that lymph node into the head, and when it's done and the body, the blood needs to be cleaned again, it comes back down through right by that lymph node. So if that lymph node starts to swell, it starts to cut down the blood flow to the brain, and also the lymphatic drainage starts to get compromised because it comes out through there too, and your vagus nerve comes out through here, parasympathetic. So when we're breathing, and this is something you can do when you're detoxing too, because you want to help move that along. You want to get that diaphragm involved so that it drops. Okay, and that's breathing through the nose. All kinds of things happen when you breathe through the nose that help cleanse the body. So when you take a deep breath through the nose and your diaphragm drops as a belly breath, and you want to feel that diaphragm drop, the heart relaxes, but it's helping to massage all the organs and glands cut from your pubic bone to your solar plexus. That's where 2/3 of your fluid is. And if that starts to get stagnant, then you start to have issues. And if this gate 4, which is under the solar plexus, goes down around the belly button, if that starts to be compromised, inflamed, then there are health issues, dis-ease that comes with that. And it can be in anything. It can be in the gallbladder, it can be in the liver, it can be in the spleen, it can be in the kidneys, it can be anywhere, stomach. So we want to make sure that we're moving everything in the body. The body is about flow. It's no different than a hydroelectric plant. There's a certain amount of water they want running through that plant to produce electricity. If it drops down, it has a hard time. And if there's too much, they open up the gates to get rid of the excess water, because it's putting too much of a strain on the turbines. That's what the water is turning a turbine. Well, in us, we have energy centers, chakras that run up and down our spine, the 7 major ones. Those spin just like a turbine, and they generate energy. And from the solar plexus to the pubic bone, there are 3 that are about survival. 3 chakras are about survival. Up here, they're more about intellectual things, the heart and throat and the mind. And the brain is the physical part of this world, and the mind is the quantum part. And through thought, we speak. That's why when we're speaking, our words are quantum energy. So there are all kinds of things that happen neurologically as we're speaking. And we're, in the beginning, there was the word, and word said, let there be light. Well, that means that words are more powerful than light. So we're speaking the light and darkness into our physical being simply by the words we choose and the intention we put on those words. And that can make us very sick if we're on the lower side of that. And this is what the media is actually doing to us. It's lowering our energy, and we are susceptible to all these things because of it. And when we turn it off, we carried that. It says we're always looking through rose-colored glasses, right? So here we are looking through these lenses. And if that lens is something that the media taught you and you can't turn it off, no matter where you go, that's what you see. Even though you may be standing in a neighborhood where there's dogs and cats and people having backyard barbecues and people laughing and having fun, it's almost impossible to see it because your mind is so manipulated by the media. And this is happening in all our food. It's happening in the way we live, all aspects of our life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, we are the sum total of the input put into us. And if that is chaos, and we can't figure out the difference between the lies and what would be our truth, we're going to suffer. We are definitely going to create a vibration within our body that is not healthy. I was writing the other day and I said, when we breathe in the frequency of health because it heals you. And focus on your breath, focus on your body, touch your body. This is why Qigong is so powerful. And yoga and things too, because you're touching your body, you're feeling it move. You're feeling the muscles moving around. And your body will talk to you. Right now, it's so numbed with a frequency created by the media and the synthetic meds and cultural programming from schools and all that stuff, that we don't have a direction anymore. The only direction we have is the matrix. And anytime that you drop out, there are consequences to that. Sometimes that's health because you get away from it for a while and you start to be alone and you start thinking and you start feeling like never before. Just to feel your clothes on your skin, to feel a breeze blowing across your skin, uh, blowing in your hair, to be in water that is either ice bath, to be in water that is warm, or to be in water that is hot. They're all sensations, and our body loves that. The mind doesn't. Well, it doesn't mind warm, and if it gets too hot, it doesn't want it, and that. But the ice baths, most people can't think about that. It's kind of like when you're gonna go on a detox, and I'm guilty of this too. When I first started doing this, I don't do it anymore. I'd eat like crazy for 2 days so they could start my cleanse because I knew I wasn't going to be eating. We don't need to do that. There's a psychological barrier there that is keeping you from detoxing. And we believe if we don't eat 3 meals a day that we'll die because that's what we're taught. And you're going to have snacks and you're going to have all these different things. Well, it's not true. We're overeating and it's causing dis-ease in our body because the body can't eliminate it. It doesn't have time. This is why when we lay down at night, we want to make sure that the 6 gates are open. And I have a lot of free videos that show you the gates. But when you lay down, from your feet up through to here is how all the toxins come up through. And your body's designed to eliminate toxins. And if you're having a cold and flu-like symptom, doing a cleanse, it's because too much of it is built up. And it's just breaking loose faster, to be in a sauna, steam sauna, infrared, I don't care, whatever it is you like. I know that not everybody likes the same thing, but a steam sauna seems to be okay uh, with most people. But you want to sweat. That's lymphatic waste that's coming out. That sweat is lymphatic waste. It has salt in it, and it stinks if you leave it on your body, and it starts to accumulate. And days go by, people don't even want to be around you. Well, it all came from inside you. So it's really important, even to have a cup of hot water once in a while, and not tea, not anything, just hot water. Heat it up and sip it and just drink it like you would a cup of tea. It's cleansing your internal body. That's why water fasting works. That's why juices work. That's why they're taking a lot of the burden off in the energetic flow through the body. Every time that we get thick tissue in the body, it takes more energy to get the blood and the lymph through it until it can't get in at all. And that's part of because we're electromagnetic beings, we carry a negative charge just like the earth. So when we are consuming things and they're toxins, they carry a positive electromagnetic charge. That's why they're disruptive in the body and the energy has a hard time to flow through. So by grounding to the earth and drinking good, clean water, we're cleansing, and we can give all of the stuff to the earth. Just send it out. Tell the earth to take it. It wants it because it's seeking balance. And if you are acidic, you're not balanced. Alkalinity is balanced. And that would be 7.364, I think it is, or 7.4. But it's like 7.364 is what the body's supposed to be alkalized to. And that's your blood. And it's the lymphatic's job to keep it that way. And it can be totally compromised, and it's still going to fight to do that. And I think that's why they believe that chemo works. They're injecting acid like 1.5 pH into an alkaline system, and the lymphatic's job is to get that acid out of there and keep it clean. but it's already compromised. The lymphatic system is already compromised. So it can't really do its job by cleaning it out, and it just makes it worse as far as I'm concerned. And from what I have seen, and there are doctors that I follow that have given up their medical license. They've also given up their ability to prescribe medications because they know they're not working. You shouldn't be on drugs for the rest of your life. You do not have a synthetic medication shortage. You have a mineral, hydration, and oxygen shortage. That's what the shortage is. And when you start to replace that, the body has no choice. It has to heal itself because it was the lack of that that created it, that created the dis-ease in your body. And all they're doing is watching it. And you hear them talk about it. Look up uh, people that are having kidney issues because the doctors are on there. And that's what I was so blown away by this. That's exactly what they said. Oh, we see you have a little spot there on your kidney. Now we're going to watch that and we're going to send you for a series of tests, right? So you go round and round and round to all these different doctors, and they really haven't done anything yet, and they're just watching. Well, your lymphatic system, if you haven't changed anything, if you want to fast, that thing would go away. And like I said, it takes 8 to 10 years for that to even show up where they can see it. So they're watching it, and you're not changing anything. And it gets a little worse, and it gets a little worse, and then you're on meds, and then you're on stronger meds, and then you're on even stronger meds because they're watching it. And then all of a sudden, you have to have it replaced. And then you're on more drugs, and you just became a lifetime subscriber to their medication. And then that medication has a side effect, so they give you another one. And those two together have side effects. And they give you another one. And the next thing you know, you're on 8, maybe 13 different drugs. And even the medical system itself says if you are on 7 or more drugs, you're on chemical life support. We don't need to be on chemical life support. We just need to clean the system and keep it clean. That's
And
why
we now,
so.
yeah, and we now know how to do it. Gary,
Yeah.
I didn't want to cut you off, but I have to go.
Okay.
And I am so sorry. I do want to answer Janelle's question. If I eat a salad, then want to have a fruit juice later, is there a shorter window as opposed to eating fruit? Well, the only fruit juice I would consume after eating a salad would be lemon water. And if it would be a shorter window, say you need to wait 3 hours before you can eat fruit after a salad, I don't think it makes a difference if it's fruit juice or just eating fruit. I would, but yeah, you can find out and see how your body responds to it. If you get any bloating or fermentation, then you know.
I heard somebody say this the other day. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing you don't put it in a fruit salad. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you all for being here. And thanks, Gary, for the beautiful explanation. Thank you, Sarah, for your insight always. And I would say till the next time, much love to everyone.
Much love right back at you. You and Sarah both. Love you guys.
Love you, Gary. I think Sarah's still on mute and probably away.
All right.
But Sarah, we do love you too.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.